Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have two very special guests with us today, they are both the founders of Kreativ Nail Supply. Please welcome Toya and Keisha. Hello, Toya and Keisha, and welcome.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to go ahead and ask you both where are you originally from and tell us a little about your upbringings.
You wanna start?
Yeah, sure, I'll start. So I am from Charlotte, originally from the south side of Charlotte. A little bit about my upbringing. Um, I don't know. That's a long story, but I was close with my family growing up. I would say I experienced some hardships like any other person. But I was always very like to myself. Well, not really to myself, but not like
Mm-hmm.
extrovert,
Yeah.
extrovert type of person. Shy. I am shy. I'm still shy. Yeah. Um, um, but loved artsy things. Didn't really like outdoors. So yeah, pretty like just to myself in my own little world, in my own bubble. I think that's pretty much sums up my like upbringing. Had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cousins, just close with my family. Just like to do things that I like to do, I guess.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about you, Toya?
I grew up in Charlotte as well. Mainly on the west side of Charlotte. Went to West Meg. What else? I definitely have a pretty strong like numbers background. I've always been really good with numbers, so my mom definitely tried to have me like hone in on that and kind of tried to guide me into a career of
Mm,
something numbers related. But a lot of times your gift will end up in places where you don't think you'll end up being.
right.
So instead of so definitely my career path, pivoted to nails, and now I'm able to use my gift to help others.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you guys have any interest prior to getting into the nail industry?
Um, yes. So I actually wanted to bake. I took photography in high school, so excuse me, that was something that I was interested in as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
camera set up now, just trying to just use different things that I like to do. But
Absolutely.
um, nails was actually always a part of my life. I actually had a black nail tech that stayed right beside me, and she used to
Mm-hmm.
practice on me.
Right.
And she used to nick me all the time. But like now that I look back at my story, now that I look back on my story now, I'm like, wow, like I was in like sixth grade. I had a black nail tech that, stayed beside me. I had a
Mm-hmm.
black nail tech when I graduated high school. And she's actually one of the ones that helped me get into the industry. It was like,
Right.
I don't know what I want to do. I didn't go to school for baking. So now I'm just kind of like, well,
Yeah.
what's next? And so I was talking to her and she was like, well, I think maybe you should do nails. And I was like, I do like nails. Like, I was always the one doing my own little nails and feet with the Kiss kits back in the day. Like, my mom would tell
Mm-hmm.
me house smelling like straight monitor. But all my friends, their dads, they couldn't stand it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was always that girl. So it definitely made sense for me to be in the nail industry. Once she said it, then I kind of just started shadowing her and assisting her, and
Mm-hmm.
then just kind of brushed off on my own and went to school and yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. What about you, Tanya? Toya?
You're okay. I like a lot of things. Definitely. I played basketball in high school. So that definitely was a huge interest of mine. I love sports still to this
Right.
day. Y'all know on on Saturdays I tend to have some type of college football game playing on the TV. Sometimes
Right.
significant others are entertained while y'all was shopping. Um, what else? Yeah, anything I'm really good at. I definitely take an interest in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Because like, there's so many things. Like once I get interested in it,
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, you're just interested in like multiple types of things. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's
like whatever I'm good at or something I can like learn more about.
Right.
A lot of things.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, really cool. So I definitely want to go ahead and push forward and talk about what was like you guys' school experience like, grade school, college, beauty school, things like that.
I think you should do this first.
Okay, cool. Definitely in school. I guess going through like, grade school and high school and stuff, people don't realize you get like a lot of what's the word, like accolades and prizes and awards for all this stuff. It's like as soon as you leave high school, it kind of just comes to a screeching halt. Being exceptional in anything, you don't really get acknowledged for anymore. So definitely that kind of, I want to say like trying to be trying to think about how I want to say it, but school is pretty cool. But sometimes when you grow up disenfranchised, it kind of like can hold you back from actually you being very talented or being very good at what you are. It can be a technicality. Then now you no longer qualify for this award or achievement or something. And definitely want to make sure we're giving back and letting people know that they are still amazing at what they do, even if there's no particular award for it. So yeah, so we definitely understand. You get out in this real world and you're not really necessarily always appreciated for your talents. And a lot of people in this industry are extremely talented. So we definitely want to make sure that they're not overshadowed just because their video didn't get 1 million likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of very talented people out here that just don't necessarily get the credit for it. So we definitely try to make sure we're putting on for these people, like showcasing their work, showing people what they do, shouting people out and stuff. Because I took my own personal experiences with education and knowing how that can getting acknowledgement for the things you're good at can sometimes discourage you if you're not getting that anymore. So I understand that, to the point that I want to make sure people are still being acknowledged and being encouraged, even if it's not a formal education or anything about, like, you still
outside validation. You still have to find so being so, because like getting the accolades and stuff growing up, it was like it kind of, you looked for it, you know what I'm saying? And then once you grew up, it was like no one's gonna pat you on the back for things you're supposed to do. Or but you are doing something great, now, but you had to go through that process of like just being a regular adult and having to find your way. And it's all like traumas and stuff that we dealt with growing up, or just like not necessarily trauma, but just confidence and finding ourselves just growing up, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's very, very important because like what you said, Toya, is to shout people out. I mean, even people with small followings, or people don't have as many likes and things like that. And that's what I try to do, is shout other nail artists out who have smaller followings and things like that, and say, hey, support this person, and this person's work is really, really cool and amazing. So it is very, very important to shine a light on people that have smaller followings, and especially the ones that are talented as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely, absolutely. Now, was there ever a time that whether it's your family, yourself, like, have you guys ever owned a nail salon or studio, and things like that, or was it just solely the nail supply store?
So I had a nail suite inside of my cousin's hair salon, Pure Body Salon Spa, and they were the ones who gave me my first start. I was at home prior to getting a salon suite there. From that point, they had 4 rooms upstairs, and I was in 4 of those rooms. So once I moved from the first room, I moved across the hall, because that one had a double conjoining room. It was a door that split the two. Once we decided to
selling products,
sell products.
It got so big so quickly. It was like
it was like, okay, we need more space. We need to separate it, because I have nail clients. This stuff can't be out like just on the table. I need my room, okay?
Right.
So we rented out the second room, and then we ended up just putting pegboards on the wall and just literally growing from that point. But so before the nail supply store, I did have a suite,
and I was her assistant,
and she was my assistant.
That's how I learned nails, was being her assistant, and then even realizing the problems you were dealing with as far as like the ergonomics of things, the product issues. She's trying to send me to the nail supply, and first, if they were even open, I'm like, oh my god,
Saturdays are terrible.
Oh god, I'm like, what are we gonna do?
Nail supplies on a Saturday.
Trying to realizing, oh, you need to keep more than one set of implements, because if you got you're backed up all day and I gotta wait 10 minutes for it you know, soak in the barber side.
Back before
Right.
I learned boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
And
having enough supplies. Yeah, just we learned all of that firsthand. So it's not like, you know, we're making up any of these solutions. These are problems that a lot of people face and don't realize there's
Right.
a solution for.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. And this leads me to the question of, you both having your own nail supply store called Kreativ Nail Supply. So tell us about the journey in regards to building your nail supply store. Or was there any setbacks in regards to developing your business?
Absolutely. Let's start with the first one.
Oh,
Being transparent, when we opened the nail supply store, it was strictly off of faith. But
Mm-hmm.
we actually didn't have a product line before we moved here. Well, we had monomer.
yeah, it wasn't a established like a established product line as far as like a clear cut separation between the nail supply store and a product line.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So that was definitely a blurred line for us. We were like, yeah.
It was definitely a lot because we didn't start off with like private financing or anything like that. So we literally started off in like the grassroots of it. A lot of stuff was, you know, word of mouth. People we knew, people just asking, "Hey, do you have this? Do you mind like bringing it to me? Can I come get it real quick?" It was just a lot of,
Right.
you know, we just figuring our way out as you know, opportunities were presenting themselves to us.
Yeah.
So it's so hard when people ask us like, you know, for like the blueprint of it. And I'm like, we just took every opportunity that presented itself to
Absolutely.
us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and we made sure we were prepared for the next one.
like we had a business plan, and I tried to be realistic about, you know, like the numbers and stuff, and like, you know, growth goals. And honestly, we put the business plan out the water within 3 months.
Yeah.
So it was so we definitely started with the plan and just executed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you both are doing is, I don't see a lot of Black owned nail supply stores, and and I like seeing that representation because the nail supply sector of the nail industry is saturated with Asians running, nail supply stores. We have Asians, running a lot of nail salons and things like that. So I think, I'm glad that Black women, Black people are having their own nail supply stores, having their own nail businesses where they can sell different nail, products and stuff like that. So it's great to see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I love to see it as well.
Yes.
It was definitely important for us to be the change. It was like,
yeah, because it's really hard to see your people funding the vast majority of an industry and only having 1% ownership in it. That's really hard to see. So don't get me wrong, the other 99% work very, very hard, deserve everything they have. But it would be nice, like you said, to see us owning the industry we literally fund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the industry also that we've created and we're trendsetters in. The nail industry, Black women, are the trendsetters of the nail industry. The nail trends. Like how I talked about, at the duck nails, the curved nails. You know what I mean? My previous interview with Nicole J. Talking to her about that. So the thing is with this industry, it's so much into this, pushing our contributions to the back. And the thing is, we need to shed more of a light on our contributions in, this nail industry, because the nails is part of our culture. It's part of Black culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's very important.
Right. It definitely is a part of our culture. That's why it's like, they'll be like, "Oh, how did you get started?" I'm like, well, honestly, my mom used to take me to the nail salon to get me and her, nails done for our mommy and daughter days. Like, that's something that we did growing up. Like, they were like, "Oh, I don't know. It's just, it's really our culture."
Yeah.
Like, we paint our own nails growing up. We
do our own hair growing up. Yeah.
Like, it's in us. Like, so, yeah, to see own these things and to have these salons and these suites and nail supply stores and nail brands is definitely beautiful to see.
Yeah, and the schools.
Schools.
Nail school.
The conventions, because Bronner Brothers Black owned.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing us, being able to represent ourselves and partake in the ownership of representing ourselves is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. So what are the most important things to consider when owning a nail supply store or a nail business?
Most important things to consider.
Oh man, definitely doing your research, making sure that that your fulfilling your obligation to the community, because that's essentially what a nail supply store is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that there's a need for what you do, making sure you're doing right by your people, making sure you're um, you know leaving this community better than it was when you came in.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I would definitely say logistics,
Yeah, absolutely.
systems.
um a lot of back office admin information is very vital to running any business, not just a nail supply store. Any
Right.
business, especially like a retail store that's product based and not just service based. Um, because yeah, like you said, the logistics, you have to constantly funneling product in and getting product out is literally a constant cycle that never ends, which is
Right.
with definitely
Right.
making sure you have the resources, whether it be financially, whether it be with help, whether it be with knowledge, education, um, making sure you have the resources, because essentially a nail supply store is a location full of resources.
Right.
Um, so yeah, making sure you have the resources to open up every day, making sure you have the want and the desire to come in every day,
Right.
and not just putting things on the shelf and whatever happens. Actually caring. So that's
Yeah.
huge. Making sure you're actually caring, making sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I was on your IG live, Toya, and you talked about finding multiple vendors. So what is your advice, for those who want to own a nail supply store or nail business? What is your advice in regards to finding multiple vendors, but what goes into selecting vendors as well?
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad you said nail supply store or nail business, because one thing I wanted to make sure that also kind of ties into that open book IG live that we were on, was how there's a difference between a nail supply store and a product line. And a lot of people associate the two as one and the same, which they're not. They're both hard work. Both take a lot of energy, money, passion, but they're two
Right.
different. So I guess I'll start there and give you the two answers. You look, keep getting two interviews for one. But I'll give you both of them though. So with a nail supply store, you definitely need to make sure that you can source product quickly. Because with a nail supply store, like I said before earlier, it's an obligation to your society. We
Right.
don't It's not about us and what we want. It is about our community and what our community needs. Whether it be the product, or whether it be the fact that there's no nail supply store open on Saturday. We're here every single Saturday. The only reason we have ever closed on a Saturday was because it was Christmas. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So being open on Saturday, we don't have when it comes to like the essentials, we have to have the essentials. I can't just say, oh, I don't want to sell acetone, so we don't sell acetone. You know what I mean? That it's an obligation. Like, what do you
Right.
need? Things that our nail techs in the community face. We make a solution for them because of that obligation we've uh we've accepted to our society. And with product lines, don't get me wrong, they work very, very hard. They work very hard, and they do have an obligation to society as well.
Right.
But you choose, what you would like to include in your product line and how you like it presented and have your packaging XYZ. And a nail supply store, you sell other product lines. It's the obligation is to have what they need. It's not about me and my product line. It's about you. So if me making sure I'm taking care of you means I have another brand in my store as well, then that's what that means. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely we're looking for vendors, making sure you form good relationships, because it's really about the relationships that you have with them. Making sure you don't act entitled to them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same way. Just making sure you have a good relationship with them, and they'll have a good relationship with you. Being able to communicate, being able to understand their needs as well too. They run
Right.
their business a certain way too, and they want to be respected and understood. A lot of
Right.
people nail supply store is just this giant nail supply store in the sky, and probably just one of everything in the store just comes from it, and that's the
Right.
reality of
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
works. So I
Mm-hmm.
know I figure people kind of figure that might be how it works, because the question I get all the time is, what day does your truck come in?
Mm-hmm.
What?
but but I understand why they think that. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely, yeah, having good relationships with them for sure. Expressing any concern you have.
Right.
We've had something we needed different out of a vendor before, and once we were able to express that, everything has been much smoother since.
Right.
And if we just never said it, we've never gotten what we needed. So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, just building good relationships.
Yeah, and it's actually building a relationship. It's not like they're not gonna have everything. They may not have everything perfect the first time, and it's like
Yeah.
a lot of people just be like, "Oh, they can't do nothing right," and then they're like, "I'm gonna go find another one," and it's like,
Just talk to
just talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how you explained it, Toya, as far as like the difference between a nail supply and like a product line, because I think the difference is very, very important. You know what I mean? I like how you broke it down where with the nail supply store is a place to, get resources. You know what I mean? That's like with the art supply store is a place to get
Mm-hmm.
resources for art supplies, whether it's color
Mhm.
pencils or
I
pastels or, gouache
cool.
and things like that. So I think understanding the difference, and I'm glad that you guys are educating me on the difference because that's very, very important to understand that distinction.
Thank you. Yeah, and then also, well, oh my God, you might be asking this a little late down the road, but now that just popped in my head. Another thing about like our obligation, any like gift or talent that we have, we make it available for people to use us as a resource. So
Right.
like, something that a lot of people don't realize about me is I do know how to fix drills. They're the nail files.
Mm,
And a lot of stores they just tell you to send it back to the manufacturer, or that's just not their problem, or whatever they give you. And
mm,
I know I do have these talents where I do know how to fix a lot of things. I do know how to make solutions out of a lot of things. So the fact that I fix nail drills, it doesn't matter if you got your drill from here or not. Your drill's broken, and now you're canceling 6 appointments this weekend. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, bring it in, give me an hour, maybe, and I'll look at it, get it fixed.
Yeah, yeah, that's really, really cool. I don't see any other nail supplies doing that, fixing nail drills and things like that. So that's really, really cool that you guys do that.
Thank you, thank you. I thought we truly just accepted our obligation to society. So it's
Mm,
not like what I always say. What's the point of you being given a gift if it's not to help the world? Like, what is the
right.
point?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, most definitely. So in that same IG live, you also talked about quoting. You said this, Tanya, Toya. People want to start a product line to stroke their ego and to see their name on something. Could you expand on this more and talk about Toy in regards to how ego can affect business?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had to break down the difference between, because some people were asking me questions about opening a nail supply store, and the questions were really geared toward a product line. So I had to make sure I broke that down so some people don't realize that they may want a product line opposed to a nail supply store, or vice versa. Definitely with ego. Like I said, with the obligation to society, you can't have an ego. It's been a lot of things that it would have been easier if we just weren't open on Saturday. It would have been easier if we charge everyone for shipping on their orders. It would be easier for us, or if we had our name put on every item in here. It's not about us. So I definitely feel like with a nail supply store, you have to put or any retail store, you have to put your ego to the side, because don't get me wrong, every business, every product line, they all have to deal with customer service, they have to deal with customers, the marketing, they have to deal with all of the stuff that comes with it. But definitely there's a special aspect of owning a nail supply store where we are faced with anything at any moment. You know what I mean? And it's not a necessarily, because we have to deal with emails too. But if someone comes in with anything, it's I have to take care of it right then and there. Like, there's no ego. That I cannot have an ego when I'm servicing my people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So definitely wanted to make sure the context of that quote was was there. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely I'm in service mode. I'm serving you guys when
Right.
we're in here.
Right.
It's not about us and, oh, you must not know how to use the product. No, we're never like that. We're in here doing essentially demos on products. I'm showing people how to do things that they may not have learned anywhere else. I take the time to figure it out, because I'm really big on making sure everyone knows how to use everything they bought here. We
Mhm.
don't want anyone walking out of our store feeling like they wasted money on anything. We don't want anyone to walk out of here with questions. Like, I
Mhm.
we will show you how to use anything in this store if you just let
Mhm.
us know. Yeah, we're just really big on making sure that we're serving you and you leave out of here better than you came in.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I like what you said, Toya, because it's very, very important to service the people. And I don't know if you guys knew about or familiar with this scenario that happened on TikTok. There's this guy named Keith Lee.
I was going to
And you know, Keith Lee, he used to be an MMA fighter, but he considers himself a food critic. So he would go to restaurants in Atlanta and, would critique the food and things like that. And he was getting threats and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it also tells you like the Atlanta scene has to be improved in regards to service. Because if it's the case that, you're not serving them properly, then those things have to be improved.
The only reason why it blew up so big was because that's how they feel.
Yeah.
How they feel.
Yeah.
And someone needed to speak up on it. And that situation was the perfect example of ego, because you're going to act like you don't know this man instead of apologizing to not only him, but your customers, because like, obviously there's a problem somewhere. But it's just like, yeah, I was gonna say that when you were talking about it, like there's no humility in ego,
Yeah.
and people don't want to work with you. People don't want to support you. Having a huge ego, it's one thing to, stand up for yourself and believe what you believe in, but you have to have respect. You have to have, morals, and yeah, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
It's not all about you.
And just like I know I have a pretty big personality, but I definitely try to make sure, like, our content and what we stand for, how we brand ourselves is about you all. Like
Right.
a lot of my most popular videos are showcasing the strains that nail techs deal with that no one speaks on, because it's a taboo to when they're in the customer service position of serving the public. They can't speak on the things that their customers do out of fear of losing customers. Right. They can't speak on the things that they have to go through. They can't speak on the ways they're being inconvenienced all the time. They can't speak on it, out of fear of being either blackballed or losing business because they spoke on the strains that don't have to exist. Mm-hmm. So I definitely make sure that when I am making content, it's from the aspect, from the perspective of the nail tech, because I'm married to a nail tech. I literally deal with, I know so many nail techs, so many talented nail techs in this city, and they still have to go through things that that they shouldn't have to go through and they can't speak on.
Right. And it also, it's like, too, you gotta have, we do have that balance of taking up for our industry and standing on protecting that, but also too, like, we're not always right either. We don't always handle customers right either. And so that's another thing we do, is we make sure that we teach people how to treat customers and customer service, because people don't always know.
When she said we, she meant as a community.
Oh, sorry, as a community. Like, yeah. Like, just, like, as far as like holding
ourselves
accountable.
But
I'm not saying that to take away from, like, us standing up for the nail techs. That's correct. But also to us making sure we hold ourselves accountable for a situation where we haven't always been correct when it came to dealing with customers and stuff too. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, just making sure we're literally uplifting everyone on both sides.
On both sides. It's not just like, oh,
the customer's wrong. Like, it's like, we could have, nail techs could have been correcting. It's a better way to get across the same point. Here's a better way. Once again, we're very solution based.
Yes.
So I'm never going to call out anything without having a solution present ever.
Right. And it's just like, I don't want them to be like, oh, well, Kreativ said that. Because that's what they said. Like, no. We still hold y'all accountable too.
But yeah, it's still it's an obligation to society on all ends.
Yeah.
On all ends. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what Keisha said, because I think that accountability is very, very important. You know what I mean? You want to handle, situations with professionalism, at all costs. You know what I'm saying? To have composure and things like that. I think that definitely, accountability and credibility is very, very important. You know what I mean? That's how you push your business forward. You know what I mean? You don't criticize somebody because they criticize the food, or any product that you sell, because food is products. Restaurants serve products, which is food, the different dishes that they make and stuff like that. Just like with your nail supply store, you supply different nail supplies for nail techs and, things like that. So I like how, Toy, you also talked about, as well as, covering the taboo things that not a lot of, nail people talk about. So I want to get into that as well. So what are some of the taboo things that the nail industry doesn't talk about or cover?
One, oh man, it's a few. I could literally go on and on. I guess I could start with for one, definitely the MMA thing. That's a huge one. As I did my research, because once again, I'm always trying to nip something in the bud that
Right.
we could all what's it called, do better on.
Yeah.
The obligation to make sure that nail techs are using the correct product, the correct monomer they're supposed to use is ethyl methacrylate, which is EMA. It's their responsibility, and I'm in frequent talks with our North Carolina State Board, trying to make sure, see how we can improve as a nail supply store, seeing how we can work with State Board, and the obligation is on the nail tech to make sure that they have the correct liquids. So I don't sell any illegal products. We don't sell anything illegal. But the thing is that I don't agree with is that State Board does not go into these supply stores to correct the fact that these stores are selling MMA because it's dirt cheap. And they're just putting EMA labels on it. So I teach girls all the time, well, first off, if you buy it here, it's EMA. But if you do have some other liquid or that you've already had before you switched over to us, to show them how to test for it. I always tell them about the soak off test. If you're soaking it off, if it's gummy, if the smell is so loud that you can smell the nail salon from the parking lot down the street, you know what I mean?
Right.
Also the speed in which it's drying, the price that you got it for, you know what I mean? If the price was unrealistically low, you probably got your on some MMA, and there's no accountability on the supply stores, which I'm not okay with. So we hold ourselves accountable to make sure, and I also teach them how to recognize and teach them how to honestly fend for themselves. Like, you know, if there's ever a situation where you have to use someone else's liquid, you can test to figure out if you're even using the correct liquid or not. You know, so just what's it called? Instead of just feeding them a fish, teach them how to fish. So
yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
One problem.
I would say another problem that's taboo to speak on in the nail industry is probably the fact that typically, until Kreativ Nail Supply came around, you can't go into a nail supply store and ask for help. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't know how to, use any of this stuff. I actually, but I know that for a fact.
Yeah, like you mean talking about one time I went into the store because I told you I was Keisha's assistant essentially. I went to the store because before we had our store, we had to shop at these stores too. So we literally were the customers there at these stores. Right. And I'm asking for help, and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. The help was essentially non-existent, and not even from a being rude or customer service type of standpoint. The lack of nail knowledge was not present. So you could just tell, they're just being shipped supplies and putting them on a shelf. It's not, people that are educated in what is on the shelf that are in there.
MMA continues to be sold.
Yes, which is another reason why MMA continues to be sold. Another taboo that we don't get to speak on much is that nail techs are, when it comes to the beauty industry and trying to get like salon suites, they definitely get blackballed a lot as far as the smell of monomer. So either they're now forced to do acrylic alternatives as far as like whether it be gel eggs, dip, polygel, anything without the smell. But other disciplines of the cosmetology realm have products that smell too, but they're not being kicked out or they're not either being kicked out, fined, or not even being allowed to sign a lease.
Yeah, it was a whole thing in Charlotte. All of the nail techs had to leave a certain property company. They made every nail tech in their properties leave because of this.
And it wasn't due to the smell; it was due to the fact that they weren't interested in installing the correct ventilation systems. So then a certain burdens that the nail techs have to bear. It wasn't their problem to begin with. It's we're not being accommodated. Nail techs aren't accommodated for. They're not accommodated for in many instances, and then and wonder why there's the rise of so many at-home nail techs. Because there's literally nowhere for them to go to. Not nowhere. I'm gonna say nowhere, but it's harder to find a space as a nail technician. It's not impossible, You know.
Just harder, and it costs a lot of money.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. Now, what are some things you like about the nail industry, but also what are some things that the nail industry could improve on besides the things that you talked about?
You know what I'm saying?
The thing that I love about the industry, the talent. Like, oh my gosh, it's an art. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just seeing
Mm,
how each person execute their art is it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope,
Yeah.
and seeing the opportunities and the different things that people are able to do in the nail industry. Like, yeah.
And it's insane how we can sell the same products, and like girls can come in here and purchase the same products, and no two like the things that they end up doing with these nails are absolutely completely different and so inspiring in their own ways. Right. Like people really come here and get creative for real. So we've met so many creative souls, so many talented souls, and a lot of them are either disenfranchised or certain opportunities were never even put in their path because of things such as a lot of disenfranchised opportunities. Absolutely. But they're very creative. Oh my gosh, that's why I love like when we do certain sales and stuff and they're able to get everything that they need and want, and then they come back and like, I was able to do this, and this because I was able to get your supplies with using a reward I had earned or something. And had the money elsewise to get the stuff. Yeah. Right. It's so many opportunities I feel like that we are able to give them, and I love it because they're just extremely talented. And a lot of them, we over the course of all these years, our lives have like intertwined with a lot of these people. Like, so people are just how y'all are seeing us grow, we're seeing y'all grow too. Like a lot of people, we're their first stop ever with doing nails, and then to see them like years later, and now they're across the country doing celebrities' nails, or nails is taking them so far in life, or giving them a second chance at life, or whatever the case may be. Like, don't get me wrong, nails are life, but it's so like it's the bigger picture is just amazing.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, absolutely. What are some things that the nail industry you think could improve on?
Fun.
Oh, yeah. So I have this one personal goal of mine that I noticed an issue with the nail industry that actually was not caused by the nail industry. So I can only speak for my state of North Carolina. FAFSA, the financial aid, it does not cover nail only schools. So in order to receive financial aid for nail school, you have to go to cosmetology school. You know what I mean? So that's definitely been a burden on the nail schools and also the nail students and people wanting to pursue an education in nails. And that's a burden that was not created by them, which is the whole institutionalized burdens that people have to deal with. So a lot of girls either aren't able to finish school, or school isn't even in their cards because of the upfront money they have to come up with. And a lot of these girls try to go to school full time while making payments. And mind you, this is of no part of the nail school making these rules. They want financial aid. Everyone wants it. But this is something where they've, financial aid kind of left the nail schools out of. So now it's created this burden on both the schools and the students. And that's something I definitely want to change, because a lot more people could have a formal education in nails had they had the opportunity. So it's not that necessarily people don't make good choices. They might not have good choices. So we definitely want to make sure this is a choice for people.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I want to go ahead and push forward and ask this question. So I ask in a lot of interviews. So if you had a top 5 list of your favorite nail artists, who would they be and why?
Top 5.
The Jasmines.
Yes. So yeah, there's Jasmine and
Aaliyah and Kasha and Dallas.
It goes on and on. The Janaes, the Raleigh, the Anaes, the Shanaes. It's so many talented people. If you only knew, my God. Yeah. Top 5. I really could have a top 30 for real. Like, I know a lot of nail techs.
We know a lot of nail techs. Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Me. There's that. I'm all 5.
You're so annoying. But definitely, let's see, top 5. If I add more than 5, I'm sorry. But I love Jasmine Casey, Jasmine Sudam, Nails by China, Bling by Jay. Let's see. It's like I literally have like 1,000 names in my head.
You can do it. Let's do a top 10. If you had a top 10 list.
Dallas.
Kari, Dallas.
I've always looked up to Poochie.
Poochie's, yes, absolutely.
Poochie's nails.
It's a lot of people. Oh my God. It's a lot. Queen
of Nails.
Yeah, she's really dope. That's actually, oh my God, it's crazy. The first time me and Keisha ever got on a plane was to fly to her nail class.
Yeah, it was.
So nails literally can take you anywhere, literally.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? Because I know we missing some girls.
It's a lot. It's oh man, Melissa, Janae, Hirsch, Hunty, yes.
Yeah, Hirsch.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Trilla.
Yes.
Trilla nails.
Yeah, it's a lot of dope nail techs. A lot.
Yeah. It's so much talent out there.
And that was in no particular order.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, like Spiffster is very, very talented. You know, you have Beauty Asylum, Levette Cephas. Yeah, right. Jasmine J, Fetish for Nails.
Editorial Nail, I love her.
Yeah, Gracie J, that editorial nail.
Ice Caviar, she's really dope.
Yeah. Tanika is very talented. Tiny Luxury.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of talent out there. It's so many names.
It is. And that just goes to show. Because so many girls are like, you know, them being independent nail techs, a lot of them are isolated and don't realize that people actually know who they are, look up to them. You know what I mean? They're inspiring, and a lot of them feel alone because they're in their studios alone, essentially, you know, outside their clients. But
Yeah, absolutely. So in what ways have you been able to juggle having a nail supply store with like everyday life and mental health?
That's a great question.
You want to start? Or you want me to start?
Being able to balance and juggle it, I would say therapy. Utilizing your calendars and schedules and stuff is key.
Organizing your time and delegating. Me personally, I started coaching a middle school basketball team, and that has been honestly one of the most rewarding feelings I've felt since getting into adulthood, is literally giving back to these kids. And I just see myself in so many of them. And it's just crazy. Like, even just, you know, just meeting them for the past, you know, few months that I started doing this, and just seeing how they truly look up to me. They honestly, the kids don't know about the store or anything. You know what I mean? I'm just coach. And that definitely is a very rewarding feeling that they help my mental health more than they think. Yeah. So
I definitely feel the same way. When we're in the store and we get a lot of customers, and when their reaction to like our stories, or like, you know, just seeing us be here and seeing like oh, who's the owners? And like, we're the owners, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I've never seen nothing like this, you know, and you know, just being able to change people's lives and just see the effect we have on the community. And it honestly, it's a beautiful thing to see when people are starting out on their journeys. And me just thinking about like, dang, like this is literally what I needed when I started, you know? So being able to create that is wild to me.
Yeah, sometimes it helps my mental health when like someone does come in here and say I have like a busy day planned out and stuff. I got all this stuff on my list I need to get done. And someone comes in and they're just like, I'm not really sure I know how to even pick up acrylic, but I'm about to buy all this stuff. And I'm like, I want to make sure you know how to pick up all this acrylic you're buying. So then, so then I'll take like, you know, 15 minutes out of my day. Sometimes more, because I'm really chatty, and sometimes other people are really chatty too. So it might take, you know,
like 4 or 5 hours. I'm like,
but and I'll show them how to like pick up a bead. And honestly, that'll balance out my mental health, knowing I did something for someone, and it wasn't about like a dollar amount. It wasn't about a sale. It wasn't about, it literally was about making sure you left out of here better than you came.
Right.
You know, so when we get back to the actual root of why we're doing this, that is what helps my mental health.
Yeah.
It gets back to like the meaning of life. Like, if money didn't exist, what would you wake up every day and do?
Yeah.
I would be right here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how would you both define success?
What Jay-Z said?
I forgot what Jay-Z said, but my personal definition of success is how many lives can you change for the better.
Absolutely.
Because if we were just going by like a dollar amount of how much money you can make or things like that, then we'd all never feel successful, because that's numbers are infinite. That there's always a number you didn't reach. It was Jay-Z said something. I think J. Cole has said something too about like, you'll never be happy until you love yours. Yeah, in my city, that's who we love on. We making sure we're making sure that we're changing lives, like literally, even if it's, I don't want to say not nail related, but even if it's, because we've had people come here and we've had to
I mean the things we've had people pass out in here. We've had people crying in here. We've had people like,
wow.
I just came in here because I'm not having a good day type.
I
just need some love. I just need a hug. Y'all energy, y'all support right now. Like, yeah.
It's literally a safe haven. Like, I mean that literally. So even if I got to stop what I'm doing to make sure you're taken care of, even if it doesn't turn into you buying something, like we just make sure we literally take care of everyone who walks in these doors.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. To add on to that, and I like how you guys are both really about community, because that's very, very important to me as well. When I started my podcast, I was like, I'm interviewing different networks, but also I understood it was bigger than me. And I understood, it's about making a difference and highlighting different voices, not only within nails, but also within art and fashion and things like that. So definitely I'm about community and understanding to really, and, learning to make a difference, and I'm glad that people are seeing like, hey, you're making a difference and things like that. There again, like how you said, Toya, it's about touching lives. And that's very, very important. I love what you guys are doing, being about community, touching lives and things like that. So that's really, really amazing to see.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure you know this as well. Like, once you change that first life, you're like, oh my God, I think this was my calling.
Right.
And it's much bigger than fixing a drill or selling acrylic. Like, you're literally changing lives. People are being inspired. People that might not have wanted to be here tomorrow are here tomorrow doing things better than they ever thought they imagined they would have done. Like, man, the stuff the stuff that we've seen, the stuff that we've done for people, stuff that people have done for us, is truly a community. And that's why, like, we love to give back, shout you guys out. Like, we care about you guys. Honestly, without you, there's none of us. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. I could totally agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, I want to get into this other question. If you could offer one valuable piece of advice to up-and-coming nail artists, what would it be?
That's a loaded question. You have 100 things I want to tell everybody. You got something you want to tell me?
Stay inspired.
Yes.
Stay inspired.
Yeah, definitely. You want to elaborate? Or are you good?
I can, but if you have something you would like to say, but
like, I would definitely tell them, I don't know, creativity is definitely the absence of the absence of the fear of failure. Like, once you feel like you're doing something wrong, that's when the creativity gets blocked out. And we want people to always remain creative. And a lot of times the business side of things, the admin part of things, it makes people, it takes away from the creativity, which is why I don't bring a lot of that to like our branding and stuff. Like, I made this one reel about how you don't necessarily need an LLC, and a lot of girls will get down on themselves and think they're doing something wrong because of like certain things, the outside noise that they're hearing telling them they need to do this and this and that and that and that. And I always tell them, especially when it comes to nail art, there are no rules. Like, get creative. Whatever's in your mind, exude it. It's not wrong. There's nothing wrong when it comes to creativity. Right. And I definitely want to make sure they're able to exude that, because we don't want to box you in.
Right.
Yeah. But also being a creative is like, we don't, a lot of people see us as like, we don't take care of our business, as far as I don't know if that's true now with like,
people
like thinking creative people are like poor or like, that, so he's creative, he don't have no job,
yeah.
But
You mean like this term, like a starving artist?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
like yeah, starving artist type of thing.
yeah. So like, but as far as being creative, like we are majority like in our own world, but we do have to have that balance of taking care of our business and our taxes and our this and that. That's the responsibility as becoming an adult and just being a business owner, period. So just make sure that you set aside time to give to it, because honestly, like, yeah, you're gonna make all this money being an artist and stuff like that. You got to be able to set yourself up later, you know, and just take care of your business. It's a small part of it,
Right.
Um, don't think of it as this big old, thing. Just take care of it,
Mhm.
and the fact that you got it done, like, you're gonna set yourself up. Like, don't think it's pointless. Don't think stuff like that, because I know how it is being a
Right.
creator, not wanting to do all of that. I get it.
What's all of that?
Like, all of that is like
Like the admin work.
the admin work, yeah, like
Mhm.
writing those emails and
Setting up a booking site.
a booking site and just
Mhm.
organizing it. Like,
Oh,
Right.
I give one piece. You just made me reminded me of a piece of advice to kind of actually answer your question. I always tell girls when they come in the store, especially when they come in talking about, oh, my little business. Don't ever say that one. But set yourself your business up now as if it is that $1 million business, so it can become one.
Right.
If you're waiting for it to become $1 million business to set it up as one, you put the cart before the horse. That's like girls, they're waiting to get booked until they make a booking site. Like, no, make the booking site now. Like, while you have the free time, while you have the, all this creative space and stuff to do XYZ. Set all that stuff up now, and that way it'll be a lot easier on the back end, so you can get back to and staying creative.
Yep, and that's where I was
going. Yeah, because we never want you to,
Yeah.
never want all of the back end work to distract from your creativity, because then you end up losing your spark and
Mhm.
your purpose. You forget why you've been doing this, and then it just turns into money and numbers and
Right.
logistics, and you just want to make sure you're staying creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media? How can people support Creative Nail Supply?
Awesome. So you can definitely go on our website, shopkns.com. We also have a Spanish version at shopkns.com/es if you speak Spanish. What else? You can follow us on Instagram. Definitely make sure you're supporting your nail techs. Yes. So even if you're not a nail tech yourself, if you support your nail tech, just being there for her or him, being encouraged, and make sure you're encouraging them. Make sure, you respect their prices. They're already scared to raise their prices as it is. Respect them as nail techs, and that'll make this entire industry a lot better. Yeah. So so support your nail tech, and once you support the community, yeah. Once you support the nail community, that is supporting us. So so it's not just about supporting us, support everybody. Yeah. And it's like, I shouldn't have to say, be kind to your nail tech, because we really should be kind to everybody, but be kind to your nail tech.
Yes. And they can find us at Creative Nail Supply on Instagram. Creative with no E on the end. Kreativ Nail Supply.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Toya and Keisha, for jumping onto the show. I love what you both are doing. There again, I love how you both are about community, giving back, and that's very, very important for the nail community, especially the Black nail community. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you guys are representing the nail supply side of the nail industry, because that's very much needed. It's so cool to see there again with Black-owned nail business, ranging from people selling their own nail brushes to acrylics and gels and things like that. And you guys with the nail supply business, it's really, really amazing to see. So keep up with what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You too. You're doing great as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye-bye.